3 days ago, I got a finger injury. I was climbing on the board when I heard a pop, like a little gunshot, and I've had one before, so I knew what that was, and all my friends went really quiet, and there was this general no. So yeah, I knew it wasn't very good, but yeah, here I am. It's Monday now, and I'm gonna share with you guys my kind of journey from how I've injured my finger to hopefully fully recovering and coming back stronger than ever. So I've had a finger injury before I think it was 2016, and I was just getting into climbing, and I was like super psyched. I was bouldering indoors mainly, but quite a lot. And then I was going on a trip to Kalymnos, and I pulled on a pocket, and I just heard a pop, and then my finger swelled up, and yeah, that was that. And I remember feeling like super down about the whole thing, and I think it was the first time I really dealt with an injury which stopped me from doing something I really enjoy doing, and it was really difficult, and it affected like my mental health, and I think I felt a little bit depressed as a result. I went on the trip, and I didn't really climb that hard, and ended up doing lots of cycling and other things, but I think it put this like cloud over my head in like all aspects of my life. And yeah, so as you know, if you watch my videos, you'll know that I spent a lot of time bouldering in the past like 12 to 14 months, and I kind of thought it is inevitable, considering how much climbing I do, I will end up with some sort of an injury. And I'm not talking about now like a life-altering serious injury, but you know, popped finger or you know, something like that. I kind of thought this is probably bound to happen, and preemptively I was kind of thinking, okay, if I do end up with an injury, what I don't want to do is go down this like road where I feel like it's the end of my world. And if you're not that much into climbing, you might be thinking like, what is she on about? You know, it's a popped finger. It's a small thing in the grand scheme of things, and you are absolutely right. But on the other hand as well, like climbing is something that I enjoy doing, and it's such a big part of my life, brings me so much pleasure, and you know, keeps me fit and all that kind of thing, and it is hard, like most climbers will attest. But yeah, so one of the key things was I did not want it to like take over my life. And I think the reason why I was thinking on those in those lines was this book here. So it's called The Mindset, and honestly this book has like changed my life. It's just amazing, and it talks about growth mindset versus a negative mindset, and to kind of illustrate what growth and what like negative mindset is, I'm gonna kind of explain through my situation now. So you could look at my finger injury as it is in this way. So I just got a finger injury. I'm going on a long 4-month climbing trip around Europe. I've taken 4 months off. Alex has taken 4 months off from his job. I'm in the best shape of my life, and I just got injured, and what's the point? And this is shit. And even thinking about this and kind of talking about this just makes me feel just a bit down. And if you kind of like try to look at the situation with a growth mindset, you're essentially looking for opportunities that you can learn rather than something that is taken away from you. So a growth mindset would be, for example, okay, so I've got a finger injury, but my body is in the best shape of its life, which means that I'll probably recover quite fast. I have so many things that I can do, so my injury is very small. It's probably 1% of my body is injured, 99% is in a really good shape. So there's so many other things that I can do that I neglect because I just don't have time and energy. So number one is cardio. Cardio is essential for life, and every week I kind of say, oh, I'm gonna go and do some more running because I'm just out of breath all the time, and I just never do. So I'm gonna do that. And also mobility and stretching, something that is actually like holding me back in my climbing, and I always just end up not doing it because I prioritize something else. So there's so many other things that I can do, and that is what growth mindset is. So that was kind of like really important to me. I knew this was going to happen, so I feel like I was kind of prepared for this kind of thing. And when it happened, when my finger popped, I was on a board with friends, and there was this general, like, everybody could hear it. It was like a gunshot. And then Alex and everyone else was like, oh no, like, you know, feeling super sorry for me. And obviously I was in a little bit of a shock, because I think you just like, you know, something like that happens. But I remember in that moment thinking, I am not going to let this affect me, and I'm just not going down that road, basically, because that road is just, so I want to choose to find something positive out of the situation. And I'm not saying that you should ignore what is going on. I think that's not what growth mindset is, and just being this like, oh yeah, like everything's cool, and you know, that kind of stuff, when actually things you have to deal with things. But it's just looking at the situation with like, this is going to teach me something, and I'm going to come back like better and stronger, rather than, oh, this is the end of my world. I'm going to learn a lot about fingers and finger injury preventions and that kind of thing. And this is where the whole growth mindset actually comes in. And I'm a climbing instructor, and I get asked about climbing injuries all the time. And to be truthful, I did have one like a few years ago, but I didn't really deal with it very well. So I feel like this is such a good opportunity for me to learn about injuries and about, like, you know, the most important like thing we probably climbers have, our fingers. So I want to really understand kind of like what is good for the fingers. Like, maybe I'll incorporate better warm-ups and things like that, but I really just want to understand more about the topic. I think one thing with growth mindset as well is that I've been talking about this thing for ages. I've been talking about how we should like try and be more positive, try and find things that we can learn from experiences. And I think it's really easy to do when things are going well, and you're just like on this, you know, like, oh yeah, like you should always be positive when, you know, everything is working as it should. But I feel like, you know, this will prove whether I'm chatting shit or I'm actually trying to really do this growth mindset. And I think, I'm not gonna lie, like it was hard the first couple of days, like psychologically as well. And I kept flipping between like, oof, this is like not where I want to be, and also like look at your life, this is really nothing compared to what loads of other people are experiencing. So I think a lot of the growth mindset is a choice, and I don't want you to think I'm on some sort of moral high horse and it comes naturally. I'm just like really actively trying to like make myself really positive. So I really wanted to talk about that first, because it will kind of set the tone for this whole journey with the finger recovery, I guess.